Hey, welcome back to the garage here at Basin Motorsports. I'm Canaan, and lately I've had this idea of doing a Cyberpunk Corvette. Now, a lot of you may not know what Cyberpunk is about, and really the theme behind it kind of gets lost in translation. The original thought of Cyberpunk was as technology evolves into the future with AI and everything else, basically humanity kind of declines on the back. So a lot of times you get that represented as something like Blade Runner, Cyberpunk 2077, the video game, some of these other things. But a lot of times you get older cars that are more futuristic looking. So of course I have a C5 and I thought, man, I really want to kind of do something different. So I started with literally an idea after watching Blade Runner 2049, the movie. Now the original idea was to have maybe car width taillights, I guess you would call them, basically that run the width, that act as the running lights, brake lights, and pretty much turn signals. So this is what I started with in Photoshop. Now this is very simply done just to see if I even like the concept. It's a picture of the back of my car. I threw on 4 initial taillights, as you will, kind of running the length of the openings on the back. So, right, there's 4 openings or 4 ovals on the back of a C5 Corvette. And after this picture, I thought, yeah, I kind of like this idea. Let's go forth. Now, with anything, once you have kind of a digital render, even if it's really, really poorly done in Photoshop, I thought, well, let's go ahead and see if I can create this in reality or something faux that way. So what I did is I had some cardboard in the shop. Now, of course, I have Amazon boxes that come in. So they donated some other material, and then you could see the remainders of a big sheet. Now this was 1 inch thick, so 1 inch thick this way, and a big sheet of it like that. Now this is donated enough material that I could do the Corvette piece, and this is what's left. So I have basically a lot of scrap that I need to clean up now. Tape measure, tape, scissors, razor blade, simple stuff, but the point was to try and render it up. So this is what I came up with. Now after basically the Photoshop and the cardboard, I went, since pretty much I had everything, I bought a red roll of duct tape. It was like $5.50, I think, at Home Depot. And that kind of simulated the color, at least so I could see it. So what you're looking at is something that I've got 4 plates that basically go in the ovals here to block the back so it doesn't fall through the bumper itself. This is cardboard running the length, and it kind of mounts down in here. Now, of course, this is red. You'll have turn signals. You'll have brake lights. The middle one, my intent was to basically be a running light. So you turn the power on the car, the middle one, at least whether it's day or night, would come up red. Kind of like if you think Porsche Taycan, some of these other new concepts of these cars, that was kind of my thinking of it. Believe it or not, there's not a lot of whole renders out there for C5 Corvettes for a lot of stuff. So I kind of searched through Instagram, Google, etc. Came up with a couple renders. Here, I'll show you real quick. You've got this one that's a front. You've got a back to it. And then you kind of look through other pieces or not of kind of how they did them. So now that I've got this rendered up, of course, I've shared it on Facebook. You get some mixed reviews. The yay, I don't get it. No, it sucks. My thinking is I really am not excited by the execution. I think the red lights running the widthwise is pretty interesting. I like it. It was interesting enough that an indie film producer that's working on a Cyberpunk idea or a film, I mean, he's filming it next fall in 2023, asked if I wanted to use the Corvette in their movie. So, interesting enough, there you go. So what I wasn't sure of is, how do I want to execute this idea? And really having the lights sticking out past the bumper, I think I'm not sold on that. My wife is not sold on it, so I think sticking out, it usually needs to be flushed in here. Now, because I have, if you've seen the car, you know I have custom paint. When I bought the car, it's all blue flames. I do not want to cut this bumper. So I think going forth, the best thing to do if I want to move forward on this idea is to get a separate bumper, paint it black, and I think these need to be recessed. So maybe cut all the way across like a big opening all the way, flush these back in there so they'll actually be recessed inside the bumper. And electrically, I've already figured out how to do it. I talked to a company that makes controllers that do some wild things with taillights and how to do it with LEDs and make it work. But the question is, this is my idea. What ideas do you have? Do you even like this idea? Some people won't. Some people will. Some people are like, yeah, I think you should. But so if you kept the ovals, what would you do? Question one. And question two, if you just want to do something different with a completely different bumper, what would you do? Somebody suggested on Facebook, cut it all out, make it one big screen, having a scrolling banner across, do some custom stuff, which I think was interesting. Not exactly sure it's what I want to do, but I thought it was cool. It's a great idea. I mean, why not? Go wild. So there you go. It's kind of an idea of creating Cyberpunk taillights. Not sure it's going to work or if I'm even going to do it or not, but just thought I'd share. What do you think? Yay or nay? Otherwise, leave it down in the comments. Subscribe. Maybe I'll get to this. Maybe I won't. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.